Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm here to talk about this book today. I was not planning on making a standalone video about this. I originally thought that I would be able to kind of discuss my thoughts on this as I did my unboxings for the stupid amount of ACOFAS boxes that I ordered as I was unboxing them. But if you guys have been following those so far, you know that I'm not very good at condensing my thoughts into coherent sentences in those videos. So I'm going to pop on here, talk about this book for a little tiny bit, and probably stir some controversy up, but I just kind of need to share some love for it, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to preface this by saying I adored this story. Just gonna leave it at that. I apparently am in the minority of that, as I'm seeing. It has been 2 weeks since this book came out, and there is still so much buzz about it. And I just kind of want to chime in with my 2 cents about it. So, number 1, it's a novella. I feel kind of silly having to say that, but for some reason, people still aren't grasping that, and they're still disappointed that it wasn't ACOTAR 4. And I feel like Sarah J. Maas kind of dug her own hole there a tiny bit with how Tower of Dawn went. Because if you guys remember a long time ago, Tower of Dawn was supposed to be a novella. It was just supposed to be Cole's little side story, and as she was writing it, turned into Throne of Glass 6. And I think everybody, even though she from the very beginning stated that this is going to be a novella, it's not going to be a full-length story, it's going to bridge the gap between the original trilogy and the next trilogy, never did she say, oh, I changed my mind as I was writing it, it's getting longer and longer. It's always been like a 200-page story, and it was never supposed to be more than that. So for all of the posts that were going up on release day of everybody being extremely disappointed that in fact it was 200 pages blew my mind. I was like, she said that. They wouldn't have put that on all of the like websites saying that if it was going to be like a surprise 800-page length book. She's not gonna Beyonce us. It's not just gonna pop out of the blue. And while we obviously wanted more, I feel like a lot of the hate of this book is starting to stem from the fact of disappointment that they wanted it to be more and it wasn't, even though it was never said to be that. So I went into this with the mindset of it's going to be a novella. And it's only gonna be 200 pages, but it's gonna be 200 pages of like happiness for me. All that I wanted from ACOFAS was a little bit of a teaser of where we're going with the next 3 books, and I just wanted some happy scenes with my favorite characters, because everybody loves this series because it is a character-driven story. And I think Throne of Glass is definitely more of a plot-driven and action-driven story. ACOTAR has always been character-driven. It's been a lot of character development. Obviously, characters have drastically changed from book 1 to book 3. And that's why we love it so much, because we feel so connected to all of these characters. So all that I wanted from this was just some like happy scenes, because everybody's favorite scenes from ACOMAF and ACOWAR were like the joking scenes within the inner circle. Like you feel like you're in the inner circle because you have inside jokes with them. That's why there's thousands of memes and thousands of fan art and just tons of fan fiction for this, because we all love these characters so much and we just want more from them. And I think Sarah J. Maas felt the exact same way. She just wasn't quite ready to let these characters go, but their storyline had been completed. The war was over, the whole plot had come to a conclusion, and this was just a little bit of an afterword to see how things are faring in the kingdom before we move into the next serious plot point of this world. So I basically went into this expecting this to kind of be like the final story that was in Stars Above, the collection of short stories that follows the Lunar Chronicles. I won't say what it is in case you guys haven't spoiled it or anything, but the very last story in Stars Above is my favorite one in that story, and that's just because I love the characters. That last story was just a very happy scene with everybody. Everybody was okay, everybody was happy, and it was just a feel-good story to read about, and that's what this was, and that's what I wanted it to be. So I was pretty content with what I got, maybe just because my expectations were more average compared to what people have built this up to be. So I will go into a couple of things that I was like disappointed in and some of the stuff that I loved about it, but I'll keep this fairly brief in case you guys are not in this fandom. I understand. I'm doing a ton of videos about it. I just personally love this story to death. I agree with people when they say that nothing really happened in this. And like I said, I was okay with that, but I wanted a little bit more of a taste of where we were going. I personally wanted the next trilogy to be kind of set in a completely different part of the world. Like, the Night Court is present, we know about it, we know the people, they might mention it, but I kind of wanted to really expand more into the Fae realms and the human worlds and their relationship, and I still think we can get that, but I just wanted a little bit more of a taste of like the direction it's going. And obviously I'm getting into spoilers here, people. Obviously we know the next book is most likely going to follow Cassian and Nesta. And if you guys watch my unpopular opinions video, you probably know how I feel about it. It's not great. They're not my favorite ship, mainly because I strongly dislike reading about Nesta. I can fully admit that she is an astounding character and I understand the growth that she's going through, but she's so irritating to me. I have a feeling wherever this next trilogy is going to go, she will definitely grow on me. I'll learn to appreciate her because, let's be honest, I didn't really like Aelin at the beginning of Throne of Glass, but she has grown on me and is a great character. And I know that Nesta has like a world of character development ahead of her. So I understand where that's going. I can appreciate it. I just don't like her. She's just kind of the like ugly part of the inner circle, and I just want the inner circle to be complete and happy and loving, and I love them, and she's just kind of the like frowny face in the middle of them, and I'm just like, stop being frowny. I'm excited to see where it goes, but I also at the same time, I was almost ready to let the inner circle go because their stories were complete, except for Azrael. I'll come back to that. But as a whole, I liked where they ended up, I liked the direction they were going in, and I'm kind of ready to read about a completely new set of characters in this world. Like, I want to follow Vassa a lot, and I want to follow the Seraphim, the other winged Fae, like the feathered winged Fae. They're fascinating to me. I hope that they are in this next trilogy because I just want to read about them real bad. The only other issue that I had with it is I don't like the direction that she's taken Lucian, because Lucian, I love Lucian. Like, it broke my heart when he wasn't included in the story, like when we officially went to the Night Court and he wasn't like one of the main characters you were reading about. He was the only thing I missed from the Spring Court. And I like that she brought him back in, he's kind of part of the inner circle now, and I don't like that she turned him into an asshole in this one. Like, he was kind of a jerk. And it's understandable, but at the same time I was like, Lucian, baby fox, what are you doing? Going into stuff that I liked, it's short. It was short and sweet, and I honestly am happy with the length of it because I feel like Feyre and Rhys's story is done. Like, I think it's one of those things, if she had dragged it out for another full book, I think it would have somewhat tainted it for me, just because their relationship is so perfect. I know it's not. I understand it's not. But it's just like, they had a good story arc, and I feel like if she drug it out further, it would have made the characters dry, and I just love them as they are, and it's fine. Everything's fine with them. I liked that there was just a lot of scenes that just made me laugh out loud, and I feel like the people who are trashing this book still laughed at these scenes. Like, I know you still enjoyed them. Like, Rhys getting kicked out of the sauna because he had a boner. That's classic. That's great. The boys having the snowball fight was like my favorite. I cackled at that scene. I thought it was so funny. I knew it was going to be something hilarious, but that was so perfect for them. Another scene that I like died at was when Cassian gave Mor the like little lingerie thing and she gave him the matching boxers. I died. It's just little things like that were just little tastes of, I feel, the things that Sarah J Maas sees from the fans, because I belong to tons of ACOTAR and just Sarah J Maas fan groups, and the amount of just memes that show up in there, I feel like this book kind of gave all of us like diehard fans that little bit of a taste that she sees what we're writing. She sees all of the memes that we put forward for these characters, that they're still present in our mind and we still think of them in weird situations. Every time you see a meme of like, oh, that's totally Rhys, or oh, that's totally Cassian, because she clearly loves these characters as much as we do, and I feel like this just kind of gave us a couple more little inside jokes to have with the inner circle. Like the arc of Feyre turning into like the art studio art teacher, teaching the kids and helping them recover from the war. That's a really complete story arc because life goes on after a war. Like, the war ends and everybody lives happily ever after, except they don't. There's a lot of trauma that follows war, and I like that she addressed that. I like that she just showed everyday things. I like that she showed them cooking. I like that she showed them budgeting, because that's something that happens there, and it was kind of let go how money worked in this world, because we saw the tithe situation with Tamlin, but then we never really saw how it worked in all the other courts, so I liked that it showed her paying bills. They were being adults, and I liked that it showed that she went from being a very stubborn teenager to going through a lot of emotional turmoil as like a young adult. And I feel like this is her kind of encompassing being an adult and learning how to fit into a centuries-long tradition, but in her own way. So I like seeing that. I like seeing that Reese works really hard. He's not just this like smirky guy who flirts with people and like plays games with people. It shows him working as well. So I like seeing that as their characters grew. And getting more into the adult rating part of this review. First, disclaimer, this series has always been new adult. It has never been advertised as young adult, and it should not be considered young adult. So, just with that disclaimer, we're gonna get a little further over PG-13 rating here. We finally got the wall scene. I love that Sarah heard us. Like, she promised that scene and didn't deliver in the trilogy, and fans were like, whoa, where is he gonna bang her against the wall because we were promised that smut, Sarah? And she was like, I hear you, I got you guys. And girl, can we talk about that scene? Like, the whole look at how I fuck you Feyre line, I had to put the book down and I walked away and I was just like, whoo, man. She got some kinks in there, and I'm down with it. That was a kink I never knew that I wanted in my life, but now that it's in there, it's there. So that being said, that's my 2 cents on this. I was kind of excited to see the turn that she's gonna take some of our beloved characters, and I hope that we see a lot more of the world, because I feel like this original trilogy introduced us to a love of the characters and a love of Prythian, but we only saw kind of a small part. We saw the night court, we saw the spring court, and we saw a little bit of like the summer court and winter court. But I'm ready to see more of the world, and I feel like this was a really good preface to the next part, and I really hope that she expands on it with that. Those are my 2 cents on it. I adored it. If you didn't, that's fine. That's everybody's opinion. You're all entitled to it. And I just personally wanted to chime in on like the minority side of enjoying it. I smiled through the whole thing. It was just such a like happy, heartwarming little reading experience for me, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm gonna go. I feel like I've been talking way longer than I planned on for this video, and I will see you guys in my next one.